So as you all know, we are one of the few outlets that has correctly talked about all of the warmongering actions of the Trump regime. So, for example, they're bombing Venezuelan fishing boats. They've bombed Yemen, Somalia, Iran. They've threatened Greenland, Panama, Canada, Mexico. And this is all in the second term. Don't even get me started on the first term with his increase in drone strikes of over 400% and keeping us in Iraq and Afghanistan and occupying a third of Syria to take the oil and increasing the Pentagon budget every year as he pretends like he's a peacenik. Like, it was all bullshit. All that stuff is bullshit. Well, guess what? We now added a new country to the list that Trump is threatening. Ready? So Gustavo Petro, who's the left-wing president of Colombia, he says, U.S. government officials have committed a murder and violated our sovereignty in territorial waters. Fisherman Alejandro Carranza had no ties to the drug trade, and his daily activity was fishing. The Colombian boat was adrift and had its distress signal up due to an engine failure. We await explanations from the U.S. government. So Minus Touchpoint is out. News: Colombian President Gustavo Petro accused U.S. government officials of murder and violating Colombia's sovereignty, and says the Trump ordered strike of a boat in the Caribbean killed a fisherman named Alejandro Carranza. So Trump responds, President Gustavo Petro of Colombia is an illegal drug leader strongly encouraging the massive production of drugs in big and small fields all over Colombia. So his reaction is to say, this president is an illegal drug leader. It has become the biggest business in Colombia by far, and Petro does nothing to stop it, despite large-scale payments and subsidies from the USA that are nothing more than a long-term ripoff of America. As of today, these payments, or any other form of payment or subsidies, will no longer be made. The purpose of this drug production is the sale of massive amounts of product into the United States, causing death, destruction, and havoc. Petro, a low-rated and very unpopular leader with a fresh mouth, Jesus Christ, towards America, better close up these killing fields immediately, or the United States will close them up for him, and it won't be done nicely. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, to put that in layman's terms, he's threatening war with Colombia because the president of Colombia correctly went after him and said, stop murdering innocent fishermen who are in the Caribbean. Stop doing that. And thank God for Gustavo Petro, because I don't see anybody else fucking speaking up and going, you do know you're doing terror attacks and committing murder, right? You do know there's zero evidence these people are drug smugglers. And even if they were drug smugglers, the fucking penalty for that is not death. It's not fucking put them to death, blow them up. No due process whatsoever. Like, this is insane that we've gotten to this point. But here we are. So now he's threatening to invade Colombia, threatening to do war with Colombia over some totally fucking made up bullshit. And he's mad because he's being held accountable. That's what's happening. He's being held accountable. Now, the story goes deeper, though. If you were wondering, as Jim Stewartson points out, if you were wondering why Colombia is suddenly being bullied by Donald Trump, it's on the map of the American technate that Elon Musk's Nazi grandfather wanted to create from Greenland to Colombia. We're way down the K-hole. And then he says, please subscribe to his Substack here. Look at this. This is the map that Trump and the Broligarchy intend to create, the American technate. So this is something we've talked about before, that there was this old movement called the technocracy movement. And it was basically a way for elites to say, hey, we should run the country and we should do it our own way through what we view as like science and technology. And so there shouldn't be any more democracy. This was like a version of fascism. This was like an ally of the fascist movement. And part of the technocracy movement effectively wanted to expand the borders of the United States and create what's called the Technate of America. And the Technate of America, as you can see based on this map here, includes a lot of the places Trump has been fucking warmongering with. Have you ever stopped and thought, hey, what's the real reason he's warmongering with Greenland and Panama and Mexico and Venezuela and now Colombia? Maybe there's a hidden reason I don't know. Well, it turns out Elon Musk, who of course was one of the president's top advisors, and now we've heard they've made up too. Elon Musk's Nazi grandfather, he wanted to create this Technate of America. He was part of the technocracy movement. And this is also, a Peter Thiel project. In fact, it was a Peter Thiel ally who was picked to be ambassador to Greenland. And somebody tweeted like, oh, the plans are all going swimmingly at the moment, or something like that, when they picked somebody who's a representative of Thiel to be the ambassador to Greenland. Do you see what's happening here? That there are broader plans that you and I don't know all the specifics of? Do you understand that? that he's basically a conqueror and he's an imperialist and he's a colonialist and he's trying to expand the borders and he's trying to exploit natural resources and he's trying to steal and pillage. Do you see that now? Because this is what's happening. And so all the talk of, oh, we're anti-war, we're going to stop the stupid wars, then why are you fucking starting so many? Why are you starting? Because you've always been a bullshitter. You've always been a liar. You were never the peace president. You've always been a fucking warmonger. You've always been a neocon. You've always been an imperialist. And now the mask is off. And now we can start talking about the real reasons why you're doing what you're doing. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.